Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of 1 Samuel in the Old Testament, chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. Now, this is the song of Hannah. Hannah was the wife of Elkanah, and she has no children, and she begs God to give her a child. And she gets pregnant, and she gives birth to Samuel, who will be a great prophet and judge for the people of Israel. And she dedicates her firstborn, consecrates him to the ministry, the work of God, and she sings this praise. Now, in many ways, her pregnancy reminds us of the pregnancy of Elizabeth with John the Baptist and of Mary with the birth of Jesus. And her praise is like the songs of Moses or Miriam in God's victory over the Egyptians, but it also is sort of a test run for the same themes that will show up in Mary's song known as the Magnificat in Luke chapter 2. Now, she is praising God for who God is and what God can do through his people, and especially through his dedicated servant, Samuel, and who is consecrated to the service of the Lord. And so it's this song of anticipation of what God is going to impart, what greatness God is going to impart to Israel through his servants. And she begins with, my heart rejoices in the Lord. My horn, which is sort of Jewish slang for my strength, is lifted high, and my mouth delights in your deliverance. So her heart, her mouth, her strength, all that she is, thinks and does, is centered in God's gracious act. Now, she goes on to talk about who God is and what God is going to do. And what she begins is by saying is that God is unique. There's no one like the Lord. No one's holy like the Lord, glorious like the Lord. No one has power like the Lord. And there's no other rock foundation for our lives like the Lord. So the Lord is unique. And he said, and then to say to people, if you knew who the Lord was, you wouldn't talk boastfully and proud, because the Lord weighs each of us in his hand and will figure out how much you're really worth, right? That's verse 3. And then she goes on to say that it is arrogance, to have arrogance before the Lord is foolish and futile, because the Lord breaks the bows of the warriors. Those who think they're strong are going to stumble. Those who are filled are going to find themselves empty, And so there's all this, way in which God is turning things upside down so that the last are going to be first and the first are going to be last. Exactly the theme of the Magnificat from Mary. And, it's the sovereign Lord, his own will, that is going to deliver this. And why? Because the Lord is the one who makes alive or who brings about death, because the Lord is sovereign. The Lord is king over all of life. And so the last verse talks about the king, the anointed one, who will rule by the virtue of God's will, God's command, and that this king belongs body and soul, heart, mouth, and strength to the Lord, because the king is his. And that is certainly what the King of Kings is. Thanks. Have a blessed day.